Hello and welcome to livealittlehigher.com. This week we continue with the book of Rabbi Isaac Ginsburg, The Mystery of Marriage. And last week we were speaking about pure communication and how important it is to rectify the different levels of our communication with our partner. This week we will be speaking about kissing. It gets more romantic. So Rabbi Ginsburg says that rectified speech is essential for a couple to effectively communicate their mutual love and forge a common bond. So the order in which a couple has to learn to be connected first has to be through communication. Sadly, today people do it backwards, and the relationship has no foundation. So first it starts being very intimate and very I don't want to say the wrong words in this class, but you know what I mean. It starts being all about the physical, and there's nothing in the emotional. And it comes to a point in the relationship where the couple doesn't even know each other, and that first spark of a scientific chemistry that first got them together start dissipating, and when they start talking to each other, suddenly they realize there's nothing there. So that's why the Kabbalah teaches us that there's an order for a couple to become intimate. And the first order is the rightful and rectified communication. When a couple learns to talk to each other in loving ways, caring ways, and caring about each other, then you can turn into the second phase of the relationship. So here he starts talking about however, inasmuch as speech presumes a dichotomy of speaker and listener, it can never be more than a means of communication and exchange between two individuals. So it comes to a point where the relationship cannot be only the communication, it has to move forward. And it cannot express a couple's essential unity, which is their love for each other. So to return to the words of the Zohar, Da'at, if you remember, Chokhmah Bina, Da'at is knowledge within the mouth. Speech can convey the 5 degrees of Hesed, of kindness, within Da'at, o sea, the 5 levels of kindness in knowledge. But Da'at itself, the sense of true union, is too profound for even rectified speech to convey. So it's too intense, too inward to be able to be expressed through communication. So it remains forever hidden in the mouth. And the sages state further, the heart cannot reveal its essence to the mouth. So whatever you're feeling, you can say I love you, but it doesn't come to express how much you love a person. Like, you can say to a person all day, I love you, you're wonderful, but it can never come to really show what you feel. Only through a more intimate relationship can you really come to bring that inner emotional aspect of the relationship out into the relationship. So it says here, even though, as we said above, for speech to be effective, it must issue from the heart. So the Rebbe used to say, words from the heart enter the heart. When you speak with your heart, the other person is going to receive it in their heart. Like, when you're going to say to somebody something, but it comes really from a caring place, no matter what you say, it's going to come from a caring place. It's going to come from your heart. So the person is going to be able to internalize it into their heart because it comes from a loving place. So for speech to be effective, it must come from the heart, and it is incapable of expressing the heart's innermost secret. The most hidden and secret connection between the couple can be expressed only through a kiss. So here the Kabbalah comes to talk about kisses. And I'm gonna get blushed and red in my face, but if the Kabbalah says, it's because it's part of our human nature and part of our relationship with our spouses. So in kissing, both parties simultaneously give and receive. So when a person is speaking, the speaker is the one that is giving, and the person that's listening is the one that is receiving. But when a couple is kissing, both of them are simultaneously giving and receiving. And it comes from the breath of life, because it comes from a much deeper place than your words from the speech. So in kissing, both parties simultaneously give and receive, and there is no subject-object dichotomy, whereas speech reflects the revealed connection between husband and wife. So it's a revealed connection, but kissing manifests the hidden connection, the shared secret. So this shared secret is that hidden connection of a couple. It's even deeper than the communication. And above, we know that when conversing with one's wife, one should preserve a sense of inner connection to her and not allow their conversation to degenerate into extraneous, vapid, and eventually forbidden talk. It's interesting because this week in the class of Pirkei Avot, we're talking about that a man should not speak excessively with his wife, because he will eventually end up not saying, they will end up doing Lashon Hara, they will end up not talking holy things, they will end up doing idle speech, and this is very grave. So here, to this, we may now add that one should not converse with one's spouse beyond the point at which soul-to-soul communication flows naturally into kissing. Doing so disrupts the spontaneous intensification of closeness they have reached. So a couple, when they're speaking, and last week we were talking about that the ultimate way of speaking between a husband and a wife is the learning of Torah. When they sit together and they learn, especially halacha, the laws, and they learn together. Also, Kabbalah expresses that when you're learning Torah, it's like you're kissing with God. It's a relationship of kissing also. Mouth to mouth, even the Alter Rebbe says. So if a couple continues to talk at this point, the energy and intensity of their conversation has developed the apt to spill over in undesirable channels. So there's a point in the conversation where it has to stop. And then the relationship has to go into a deeper phase. And that's when the couple should start kissing. That's what Rabbi Ginsburg says here. So still the inner kiss of the heart can only be manifest to the extent that speech has been rectified and the mouth has been transformed into a channel for the expression of the 5 degrees of Hesed. And it's interesting because God created us with 2 eyes, 2 nostrils, 2 ears, and 1 mouth. He should have done 1 mouth for idle talk and 1 mouth for holy endeavors. But no, he made 1 mouth. So what we learn from here is that mouth, really Hashem created that mouth only to be used for holy things, to be able to speak words of Torah, to say nice things to people, to speak always positive, and to kiss your wife. That's why Hashem made your mouth. That's the only reason. It's not so you waste it in bad words and saying ugly things and talking bad about other people and degenerating your speech. It's meant to be used for holy endeavors. So this is why kissing is in general meaningful only after all that should be said has been said and in an appropriate way. So when a couple is together and they're having dinner and they're having a nice glass of wine and they're speaking about their children or their day or they're learning Torah, it comes to a point where the couple has to move on to the next phase, which is that loving relationship that comes from that hidden part of your heart. Because if it stays there, then where is that loving feeling? Very nice to have someone to talk to, but a husband and a wife have to go beyond that. And that second phase is very important. And it says here, defective or frustrated communication between spouses can make either or both of them lose their desire to kiss. So if you look at it, it's very important to have pure, rectified communication between a husband and a wife. This is the stepping ladder into being able to move into a more deeper, hidden aspect of the loving relationship between husband and wife. But if their speech is derogatory and they're not speaking nicely to each other and they use their mouths for not holy purposes, then that second part of the relationship will never be a healthy part of our relationship. It's not going to come from a holy place. It's going to come from a part of lust, and it's not going to come from a loving place. So the more deeply the couple has communicated during their conversation phase, the more profound will be their experience of union, and the less they will need to continue to converse if they progress to kissing and eventually to their marital relationships. And our sages say that verse, he declares to man what is his stock, and Amos refers to even the unnecessary conversation between a man and a wife during marital relationships is beyond what is necessary to establish the proper atmosphere. So we have to be very careful in our words and what we're saying, even in our more intimate moments with our husbands and our wives. We have to be very careful in what we are saying. So I hope you have a beautiful week, an inspirational week with the receiving of the Torah, Hag Sameach, and live a little higher. Thank you.